Long ago, in a small African village nestled between two rivers, there lived a beautiful and hard-working woman named Clara. Clara was admired for her grace and wisdom, but she was also known for her fiery temper and unshakable principles. Her husband, Mark, was a hunter, strong and proud, and he loved Clara deeply. Yet, despite their love, a peculiar situation arose in their household. Clara had refused to share her bed with Mark for 3 long months. Did he wrong her? Is there another man? Perhaps she's been cursed. But Clara, unbothered by the gossip, went about her day as usual, tending to her garden, fetching water, and cooking hearty meals. Mark, on the other hand, was growing restless. One chilly night, Mark sat by the fire, sharpening his spear, when he finally confronted Clara. "Clara," he said, his voice a mix of frustration and tenderness, "why do you keep your distance? Have I offended you?" Clara looked at him, her eyes soft but firm. "Mark, my heart is yours, but until you show me the respect I deserve, I cannot lie beside you." Mark was stunned. Respect? Hadn't he provided for her, bringing home game and building their sturdy hut with his own hands? He scratched his head, confused, but Clara offered no further explanation. Mark decided to ask the elders for advice. The wise old man of the village, Barber Jonas, listened carefully to Mark's woes. "Young man," Barber Jonas said, stroking his white beard, "a wife's heart is like the river, when blocked, it cannot flow. Find the blockage, and you will find her." Mark spent the next few days reflecting. He watched Clara closely, noticing the small things he had overlooked before. She worked tirelessly, her hands rough from labor. She carried water jars heavier than his spear, yet he had never once offered to help. And every time she spoke, he realized, he often dismissed her words without a second thought. One evening, Mark returned from the forest empty-handed. Instead of sulking, he walked up to Clara, who was weeding the garden. "Let me help you," he said, kneeling beside her. Clara raised an eyebrow but said nothing as he clumsily pulled at the weeds. Over the next few days, Mark began to take on more of the household tasks. He fetched water, cooked meals, and even washed their clothes by the river. The villagers laughed, calling him the hunter who became a housewife, but Mark didn't mind. He was determined to win back Clara's trust. One night, as they sat by the fire, Clara finally spoke. "Mark, do you know why I refused to sleep by your side?" Mark nodded slowly. "Because I didn't see you. I thought providing for you was enough, but I never truly valued your work or your voice." Clara smiled, her eyes glistening. "A marriage is not just about love or duty. It's about partnership. I needed you to see me, not as someone beneath you, but as your equal." Mark reached for her hand. "I see you now, Clara. And I'll never stop seeing you." That night, for the first time in months, Clara invited Mark to share her bed. The village woke the next morning to find the couple laughing and holding hands as they worked side by side. Word spread quickly, and the villagers, inspired by their story, began to value their own partnerships more deeply. Husbands shared the load with their wives, and wives found their voices stronger than ever before. From that day on, Clara and Mark's home became a symbol of unity and respect. And so, the story of the woman who refused to share her bed reminded everyone that love is not just in grand gestures but in the simple act of seeing and valuing each other as equals.